Hello. So this might be my first booktube video, and I'm excited. I just finished watching a video by Ariel Bassett where she talked about the Hunger Games. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm even more sorry about this. That's why you don't lend books to friends. But she was talking about the Hunger Games, and she said that she felt really nervous at the end of the video, and I completely understand why. She talked about how now I'll have you watch the video, I won't take too much from it, but she basically touched on how the Hunger Games franchise has turned into we love Katniss, we all connect with Katniss, and not a social commentary, which, as we know, as much as we enjoy dystopian literature, at the end of the day, they're all social commentaries, political commentaries, and which include other things like morality and whatnot. So yeah. And this is something that I actually really wanted to talk about, and I feel very passionately about. Now, a little bit of background on me. I've worked for political organizations, I've worked during presidential campaigns, I've worked for humanitarian organizations, I've worked for environmental organizations, that's what I've spent my 20s doing, instead of other things. Now, I'm not going right now to talk about politics, like, whatever politics go on in the USA. I'm not going to talk about why it's important for young people who are involved in politics to read dystopian literature like the Hunger Games. I'm going to talk about the normal people, the people who represent most of America. And those are the people who really don't know a lot about politics. Now, trust me, there's nothing wrong with that. I can make the argument that there is and make you feel really terrible about yourself, but honestly, it's just culture. Not everyone is the same. Let's face it. And that's totally okay. If everyone was absolutely into everything that needed attention, nothing would get done because everyone would be focusing on everything. They wouldn't choose one solid thing. Okay, great. So, back to the Hunger Games. I think this is really important for our generation right now, and honestly, the industry, I hate the industry. I hate what it's become, but I love it when something like the Hunger Games becomes extremely popular. I really do. We have a lot out there. We have the Kardashians, remember, we have the Kardashians, but we also have things like Divergent and the Hunger Games and so many more. It's just this amazing genre. It's important for people like you who don't know a lot about politics, or you're YA and still reading it, and you're not in your 20s yet. You're not old enough to vote yet. You're not old enough to have concerns that you'll choose or grow into or become aware of. And these kind of books are really important. We live in a world right now where rights are being argued about, rights are being taken away, rights are being fought over, people are dying for rights that you're not aware of yet. And I think that's okay, and I think it's important to read literature like this so that you can become a more powerful chooser of what it is you believe in. And that needs to take root in morality, not in the following: what your parents taught you was right, what society taught you was right, what your community or location taught you was right, what your role models taught you were right. Okay, never mind. I just lost track, but there are so many things in life telling us what to believe in, what's right. I think that's a huge problem. In a world where we need to constantly progress, we're being told what to follow. How can we be told what to follow if we're supposed to get with the times? So us, the YA readers, the people who love dystopian fiction and science fiction, basically just us, the readers, we would have a lot of power. Because trust me, one day, listen, we're gonna grow out of YA. it's probably going to happen. We're going to move on to other amazing literature. Don Quixote, Jane Eyre, Crime and Punishment, Anna Karenina, and many, many more. But guess what? Right now, who you are in your youth, you, the YA community, right now, what you're reading, it's forming your attention, it's forming your morality, it's forming who you are. And that's very important, because by the time you are in your 40s and 50s, and you are the demographic of people who actually vote, of people who are in a position of power, of people who have a family and are going to instill their ideas onto those impressionable minds subconsciously, unconsciously, whatever. When you see someone in too much power, guess what you're going to remember? Guess what memories, what feelings are going to surface from your youth? These kind of feelings. And you're going to pass it on, because when another movie comes out or another book like Confessions of a Shopaholic, sure, you can like it, you can live, you're a person, heck, I have the book, I read it, it's in my personal collection. But when I see things developing around the world, and I see what it can become, I think of dystopian future. Because let's be honest, our lives, as interesting as they might be, they're not as interesting as whatever Katniss went through. I'm not saying what she went through was awesome, because it was absolutely horrible. But I know that we get strength through literature. And I know that it forms a little bit of who we are and what we believe in every time. It's the end of 2014, and we've only started to see big changes in our lifetime. Scary, amazing, terrifying, and awesome things. The neglect of our Constitution. Drones. 3D printing. Unlawful CIA torture methods. But in my lifetime, I've also seen really small fights turn into really big fights for good.